Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Marchena Perspective, episode number 11. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. Tax the rich. Billionaires shouldn't exist. That is a mentality. It's a way of thinking that has been very prevalent on social media lately. And I want to explain to you 3 reasons as to why I think this is an issue. It's just not going to fly. And it just will never work. I think this is all very stupid thinking, very ignorant, very hypocritical too. And I want to explain why. That all sounds really good on paper, but I feel like every time these topics are brought up on whichever social media platform, I don't really think people have a deeper thought when it comes to the repercussions of these things, of these actions, of these things that they're calling for. First of all, I want to lead with the premise that I am not even defending any billionaires right now by making this video. I don't know any billionaires myself. I've never met a billionaire. I've never met the CEO of a multinational or global conglomerate. So I have no reason or stake in the game for me to, come across as defending these people or even advocating for them. However, it is my responsibility to look at things from an analytical, logical, objective point of view. I just don't want to be spreading this crap of like, oh yeah, billionaires shouldn't exist and we should cap people before they come. This is all nonsense. It's stupid. It's not going to fly. It's not going to work, and it's not going to happen. And the first reason as to why I think the tax the billionaire mentality and tax the rich and there should be no billionaires, a line of thinking is just not going to work. And, even though we've seen it so prevalent especially on the left, is because we have to be more analytical, more careful. We have to be very, very careful when it comes to going more hardcore, when it comes to taxation, to these global conglomerates. And we have to have a very clear prediction as to what's going to happen to the workers. Because we've seen how time and time again, we've encountered companies that either go on a union strike or get more hardcore regulations from the government, that being the federal government or the local government, whatever the case may be. We've seen how time and time again, these companies never lose. And what do I mean by that? Yes, maybe they have to pay a higher minimum wage to their employees. Yes, maybe they have to raise the salaries in general. Yes, maybe they have to provide better working conditions to the employees and the staff and whatever. Yes, maybe they have to give back more to their communities, being more environmentally friendly or eco-friendly or just more socially conscious, giving back to the communities that they're based in, whatever the case it may be. But we've always seen how time and time again, this almost always results in thousands, if not, depending on the size of the company, tens of thousands of layoffs. So we shouldn't really go blindfolded, just demanding more from these companies, because at the end of the day, they can do whatever they want. So if you tell them, like it happened with UPS, our drivers have to be paid at least minimum $25 an hour. That sounds amazing, and I'm very happy for you if you got to keep your job. But how many people did they fire? 30,000, 25,000? It was a ridiculous, disgusting number of layoffs that they went ahead with after they had to ensure a better pay for the workers. I am pretty sure that a lot of workers at UPS would have preferred keeping their jobs as opposed to losing their jobs for the promise or the possibility of a better pay. That is the first thing that we have to be very careful with, because it happens time and time again. It is very hard to fight capitalism with equality. So reason number 2, I think that the tax the rich or there shouldn't be any billionaires mentality is incredibly hypocritical. I live in New York City, like I've mentioned in previous episodes. And I see how time and time again, a lot of people keep tricking the system and cheating the system in order for them to get benefits that they don't even qualify for and they shouldn't qualify for. Because what do? They commit health insurance fraud with Medicaid, an essential plan. And I know because I work in the health insurance industry, as you guys already know. So I see a lot of people fooling the papers, changing the numbers here and there in order for them to qualify for things they shouldn't qualify for. Benefits in terms of EBT, SNAP, health insurance, whatever the case may be, that other people really do need and they don't get them because the state of New York and the city of New York are very generous when it comes to welfare. But there is so much you can give. There are so many benefits you can actually give people. There are so many Medicaids you can enroll people into. There are so many essential plans you can enroll people into. There are so many EBTs you can give out. So eventually the state and the city are going to see themselves in a position where they just can't give welfare to everybody who comes knocking at the door and says, hey, I need this. A lot of people need it, of course. And a lot of people should have it if they pay their taxes, if they're contributing members to society, of course. But do you know how many people cheat the system? And they make money in illegitimate ways and they bury certain sources of income that they have so then that the state and the city don't know how much they make really? So you're telling me that people who are at the lowest level of society when it comes to income are cheating the system, lying about how much they make, lying about how many kids they have, lying about how many dependents they really have under their roof, lying about everything in order for them to get benefits they shouldn't qualify for and that other people really need and don't get them. And you're telling me that if these people were in the position where they were a billionaire or they were a multimillionaire and they had assets under management of maybe tens of millions or maybe hundreds of millions of dollars and maybe billions of dollars, you think that these people are really going to be respectable members of society that are going to become philanthropists and are going to give all of their money away to the communities and to the people that are in need? Give me a break. I don't think so. And I know you don't think so either. So the tax the rich mentality, there shouldn't be any billionaires, whatever, is just hypocritical. Because at the end of the day, if you and these people were in the position where they had an empire to take care of and they had an empire to keep and they wanted to create generational wealth, they wouldn't want to be taxed to death either. And they definitely wouldn't want more regulation. And they're always going to look for a profit and a way out. It is what it is. People do it at the highest level. People do it at the lowest level. It's usually people in the middle who are more screwed. They can't find the leeway. And then, they don't qualify for the things that people qualify in terms of benefits at the lowest level. But they also don't qualify for the tax breaks that people at the highest level qualify for. So it is a very tricky situation to be somewhere in the middle. But I know for a fact that if anybody were in the position of defending their patrimony, of defending what they have, of defending the generational wealth, they would. And they wouldn't want to be taxed to death. And they certainly wouldn't want to be capped at a certain income. And also, who are these people saying, nobody should be a billionaire. Oh, people should get capped at a certain net worth. Who are you to decide how much I want to grow my company or not? Who are you to tell me how much money I want to make? This is America, for God's sake, you dumbass. I can make as much money as I want. I get to make as much money as I want. This is the land of the free for a reason, dude. So you don't get to tell me, you blue-haired, 18-year-old, going to a low-tier school, doing a gender study major. You don't get to tell me how much money I get to make just so that you feel like you're winning against capitalism. Don't be an idiot, bro. This is insane. And the third reason as to why this is not going to work, last but not least, this is a very ignorant approach because these people are assuming that the billionaires and the ultra wealthy and all these conglomerates get taxed the same way we, the working class, gets taxed. And that is the stupidest, most ignorant thing that you can possibly think of. Do you know how many sources of income these people have? Do you know how they even get taxed? Do you know the jobs that these people create, that these companies create? A lot of people talk very poorly about, for example, Elon Musk. But the reality is that he's created 100,000 jobs. How many jobs have you created? And again, I'm not even defending him. I don't know the guy. But the facts are the facts. He's created 100,000 jobs. I have created effectively 0 jobs. So who am I to tell him how much he wants to grow his company and how much money he wants to make? I don't have an issue with a personal decision that he may have or any other ultra wealthy individual has of growing their company to the max level. But that is their prerogative. And as long as they are not fooling the law and breaking the law, I don't have to have any issues with them making as much money as they possibly can. That is the point of an organization, to make the most money as possible in order for you to make the most profit. The more profitable you become long term, the more successful your company becomes. That's the rule of the game. So who are billionaires? Billionaires are people who are playing the money game, and they know how to play the money game to a level that you and I do not even fathom. We don't understand the levels as to how these people play the money game. They play the money game at the same level a professional NBA athlete or football athlete or soccer player play their corresponding sports. They're just professional money makers. And they create jobs. And they put food on so many families' tables. And also, I just don't agree with this incredibly communistic way of thinking that after an individual has made a certain amount of money, he should be capped for life and not make more money than that. This is a communistic, very dangerous, very toxic way of thinking. And it's ridiculous. And it's anti-American. And anybody who has that kind of ideology should be definitely questioned and should be checked and should be presented with the arguments that completely give a rebuttal to this toxic mentality and completely debunk it. You can't win against capitalism without capitalism biting back at you and providing you with the consequences and the repercussions that at the end of the day can be more illness than cure. You may want workers to have better conditions. But what if the company decides, well, now I got to pay these high salaries, therefore I need to get rid of some people because I can't pay this much for me to be profitable. And then now you wanted to give workers a better salary, but now a lot of workers, thousands, if not tens of thousands, got laid off and they went back home to their partners, to their spouses, to their kids with no job, with no security, with no income. So did it actually help? It is hypocritical. Anybody who was in a position of wealth is not going to want to be taxed. So it is easy for poor people to say tax the rich, but as soon as a poor person becomes rich, all they want to do is hoard their money and accumulate as much wealth as the billionaires and ultra wealthy individuals were doing before them. And also, and this is adding to the point that they don't get taxed the same way we get taxed, is that they have investments, they have real estate, they have portfolios, they have bonds, they have stocks, they have write-offs. It is very idiotic and ignorant to think that a billionaire or an ultra wealthy conglomerate is going to be taxed the same way we, the working class, gets taxed only and exclusively on our income. So there's also a matter of being more educated on the topic in finances that people just completely not recognize or even get into. So let me know what you think in the comments. Should we tax the rich a lot more? Should we have billionaires in the first place? What are your opinions on the matter? What should we do to make things better, to make society better, and to appease people when they feel desperate about their finances or their financial future and how things are going in our economy. Thank you very much for being here and for tuning in. God bless you, and see you on the next one. Hello there, and thank you very much for watching today's episode. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, do not hesitate to like and subscribe to the channel for you to get more content like this. Thank you very much. God bless you, and see you on the next one.